This CST Saints Training Camp Report is brought to you by Louisiana Cat.
Many Saints fans who couldn't road trip it to the Greenbrier got a belated gift on this Sunday. It was wrapped in black and gold and red. Drew Brees back on the practice field for the first time in over 2 weeks. Great for the fans and great for the Saints.
Obviously, we're all excited. He's the leader of this team, and he's been my leader, since the first time I stepped in this building. So we're all excited to have him back and to get this thing moving.
I think he's feeling a lot better. I think the time we gave it with regards to the injury was important, and so it'll be interesting to see how he feels tomorrow with a full practice.
So needless to say, many Saints glad to have number 9 back on the practice field. One thing we learned today, sitting out Brees the past few weeks wasn't a precautionary measure. If the same injury would have occurred during the regular season, it's likely Brees wouldn't have played either.
My guess would be we probably would have been smart and rest, because listen, there's some other areas, but this one is right. Every time you torque your body to throw, I think it would have become more problematic and set him back more.
This does not get better if you keep playing. It gets much, much worse. So this was something that just needed rest. I mean, I couldn't do the things that are required of me as a quarterback to generate that type of power and leverage throwing the football without just resting it for a while.
Brees isn't used to sitting any time, any place. For a guy who never misses games or practices for that matter, how hard have the last 2+ weeks been?
I kind of equate it to when I got benched back in San Diego for 5 games. You step back, you see things from kind of this 10,000-foot spread, and you're like, oh, interesting. I went over and sat with the defense during team period at times and just listened to coaches talk to defenders, what they were saying, the defensive call, just how they were playing, leverage, just disguises, certain things. So I became a better player in 2 weeks, even though I didn't take a snap at quarterback.
So Drew is back at practice. He plans to be back in preseason action on Saturday versus the Colts, but for how long?
I think the expectation is a half, If we go out and we score on the first 3 possessions, then it might be less than that. If we go out and we don't score at all, then it's going to be more than that. So I think typically a half is what we've gone in the past.
The third preseason game is always the most meaningful, even more so now for the Saints. In Metairie, Mike Neighbors with your CST Saints Training Camp Report.